The Surprise. Written by Toby Davis. Read by David Mitchell.
Philippa Morris was 39 years old, worked at a garden centre and had been married to her husband Raymond for 17 years. We joined them on a Thursday, but not just any Thursday. This was Raymond's 40th birthday. And that is why, with Ray due home at 8 o'clock precisely, Pip found herself crouched behind the sofa, wearing her best party dress and sparkliest brooch, holding onto a huge and helium-filled 40 balloon with 3 of Raymond and Philippa's closest friends at 16 minutes to 8. Philippa had told Ray they would celebrate on Saturday, that she was going to have to work late at the nursery, trees, not babies, due to a stock take. You see why babies would be weird. And she wouldn't be back until 9:30. At 7:46, Philippa remembered that she'd put the bags of ice in the shed at the back of the garden. She slipped out, knowing that Raymond wouldn't arrive home for a few minutes. When she arrived back at 7:52, she was surprised to find Raymond standing in an empty sitting room with his left hand in a bowl filled with ketchup. Raymond was a relatively senior account executive for a very relaxed but incredibly focused air conditioning company called Seriously Chilled. Raymond enjoyed model boating, as much as that is possible, mild curries, suffered from high blood pressure, hated blue tack, and was extremely punctual. "Hello, darling," said Raymond. "Hello, darling," said Philippa, who couldn't help wondering what the hell had happened. What is missing here is, of course, 6 minutes. This is what happened. The 3 guests were hiding behind the sofa. They heard a car arrive. The front door opened, and not one, but 2 figures entered the house. One was Raymond, and the other was a huge man whose shaved head brushed the lintel as he entered. "Don't worry, there's no one here. Just come in and shut the door," hissed Raymond. "This is all fucked up." "Do we jump out now?" asked Clive of the group hiding behind the sofa. They quietly shushed him. Raymond's phone rang and he answered it, but fumbled and dropped it. As it hit the floor, it became clear that the loudspeaker had been activated.
"This is Silas. Assam Al-Habib's visit to location C will now take place at 1500, 24th October. Green light to sniper. Repeat, green light to sniper."
Raymond snatched the phone and silenced the loudspeaker, but was aware that the face of the larger man had drained of all colour. "I didn't hear it, Ray." "Yes, you did. You know the mission, and no one can know all the details. If anyone were to hear that message except me and Silas, they have to be silenced. You know that. That's why you killed the courier." Raymond pulled a syringe from his jacket and injected it into the large man's neck. He slumped to the floor, quite dead. Ray winced, as if short of breath. The surprise party realised that they'd essentially just listened to their own death warrant. As quietly as they could, they shuffled out from behind the sofa and into the kitchen, looking for a way out. At that moment, Raymond entered the sitting room and flicked on the light. Then he sniffed the air. Perfume. People. He sniffed again. Pips, broccoli and Stilton mini quiches. The huge potential fuck-uppery of this situation struck him. She hadn't, had she? A party? A surprise party? Shit it! He looked behind the sofa. Empty, apart from a huge balloon with 40 written on it. She bloody had. How many were there? Through the window he saw Philippa heading back from the garden. Our guests, as I'm sure you'll remember, had crept into the kitchen as soon as they heard Raymond off Big Tony. Clive headed for the back door, but discovered that a bin bag was in front of it. He tried to move it, but it suddenly sounded like the loudest fucking thing in the world. He dashed for the front door once Raymond had entered the sitting room, but found it blocked by the huge corpse, so he ran upstairs and hid in the airing cupboard, sweating profusely, partly because of fear and partly because of the hot water tank and immersion heater. Sheila, meanwhile, had noticed that the pantry door was ajar. Yes, Raymond and Philippa have a pantry, deal with it, and crept inside. Brian tried to get inside too, but Sheila wasn't having it. It turned out that one's imminent death at the hands of the guy whose hedge trimmer you sometimes borrow tends to make one a bit selfish. With no other possible exit, Brian also ran upstairs. He headed into the master bedroom and hid in a blanket box. Raymond dashed into the hall and heaved the corpse into the coat cupboard. The movement caused the corpse to regurgitate blood all over Ray's left hand. He raced back to the sitting room and plunged his bloodied hand into the bowl of ketchup just as Philippa arrived. There, look, we've caught up with ourselves. Raymond, as I'm sure you've grasped, was actually a mid-level assassin for an extremely secret organisation, essentially terrorists for hire. Raymond knew that if indeed there were guests here, they would have overheard his mission and would have to be eliminated quickly. They would be close friends, neighbours. But that was the job. Nothing he could do about it. It was his fault, and if he didn't clear it up, he would be killed himself. The one thing that made this bearable was that Philippa had clearly heard nothing. That is how it must stay. It would break his heart to do anything to his wonderful wife. Philippa, on the other hand, had assumed that the guests had seen Raymond come in early and rather than spring the surprise, had scattered into the house. The guests would need to be regathered and then jump out at Raymond. She just had to find them. "Ah, there's my bowl of ketchup," said Pip hopefully. "I thought you were working late," said Raymond. "I was. There were fewer shrubs than we thought." "I'm going to clean up," he said. Raymond headed upstairs, pausing only to deadlock the front and back door. He went up and into the bathroom. He washed his hands and took some tablets. He'd been taking them since he'd had a minor cardiac episode. He took the syringe and refilled it with the deadly, untraceable poison available only to assassins at their special assassin shops. He took out his phone and dialed a number he had called many times before. The local Indian restaurant. I'm joking, of course. He called the cleaners, those who could remove any trace of crime. Meanwhile, Pip had to find her missing guests and tend to her mini-quiches if she had any chance of saving this party. She decided on finding the guests first, so she dialed Clive's number. Raymond was on the landing when he heard Clive's phone ring. Clive, panicking in the cupboard, tried to turn his phone off and trod on the pipe at the bottom of the water tank, causing it to snap, sending hot water gushing into the floor of the cupboard. He grabbed some towels and desperately tried to mop up the water. This caused him to kick out the wire from the isolator switch to the immersion heater, which fell into the growing puddle of water he was standing in. Raymond opened the cupboard door just as the lights tripped. It was long enough to see his old friend and squash partner Clive being fatally electrocuted. He closed the door. Philippa headed for the pantry where the fuse box was located. Sheila, tucked away near the boxes of wine Ray and Pip had brought back from Calais, thought it was Raymond approaching. In a panic, she ran out of the pantry and into the sitting room, kicking off her party shoes for more stealthy movement. Philippa reset the fuses, the lights came back on, and she was about to tend to her mini-quiches when she heard footsteps on the stairs. It was Ray running into the sitting room with the deadly syringe in his hand. He found himself face to face with Sheila. "Hello, Sheila. Sorry about all this. It won't hurt. I'm a professional," said Raymond calmly. "Bloody hell, Raymond," said Sheila, not calmly. Then Philippa entered the room and, seeing Sheila with Raymond, desperately hoped that she wasn't giving anything away. Raymond, seeing Philippa, threw the syringe away. And thus began one of the most awkward conversations in the history of chat. Sheila did not want to tell Philippa what was going on because then Raymond would have to kill her too. But she also didn't want Philippa to leave the room. If Philippa left the room, then there was a good chance that Raymond would kill her. Raymond was desperate for Sheila not to say anything to him about this most extraordinary situation they found themselves in, and so desperately wanted his wife to leave the room so he could get on with rubbing out the witnesses. "Sheila, how lovely to see you. What are you doing here?" said Ray, like an enthusiastic friend, not a murderer. She just popped round to borrow some ketchup, isn't that right, Sheila?" said Pip, trying to tell Sheila not to give the game away. "While you're here, stay for a drink." "Pip, go and get a box of wine," said Ray. "No, please, Pip, I'm begging you, don't get the wine," said Sheila. "It comes in a box, but it is from France," said Pip. You don't understand. Don't leave me alone with Raymond, please. Someone's got a pretty high opinion of themselves, chortled Ray. Back in a mo, said Pip. I'll come with you. No, please stay, Sheila. There's a little problem at work I'd love your opinion on, said Ray. Pip left. Sheila ran for the door, but her bare foot trod on the deadly syringe. She died instantly and without pain, just as Raymond had promised. Ray heard the cleaner's car pull up into the driveway. Raymond dragged Sheila's body into the hall and placed it on the rug. He opened the door a crack and went upstairs to fetch the corpse of Clive. By the time he'd brought it downstairs, Sheila had already gone. He put Clive's body in her place, then had an idea. He took Clive's phone and wrote a text. Pip, we've gone home. We'll do the party another day. Wish Ray a happy birthday from all of us. Love, Clive. Then changed it to from Clive, but with an X, and sent it. Meanwhile, in the master bedroom, Brian had grown tired of hiding in the blanket box. He climbed out and went to the window. He gingerly opened it, looked outside, and reckoned he could definitely make it out. Downstairs, Raymond's phone rang. It was the cleaners.
We have 2 packages.
There should be 3. At that moment, Brian slipped on the porch roof, fell from the window, and pierced his body on the black iron railings outside Ray's house.
We have the 3rd,
said the cleaners. Then Raymond was seriously chilled. Ray, I was stupid. I tried to arrange a surprise party for your 40th, and it all went wrong. They've all bloody gone. I burnt the mini quiches. I'm the worst wife ever. It's a disaster. Pip, I love you. It was a sweet thing to do, but I'm glad it's just us. Why don't we go out for dinner? I'll get my coat. With that, Philippa went to the coat cupboard and opened the door to find the body of Big Tone tumbling out onto her hall rug. She screamed. Ray rushed in to find his distraught wife and the bloodied corpse. He knew instantly what had to be done. He pulled a gun from his jacket and checked the chamber. He pointed it at Pip. It won't hurt, Pip. I'm a professional. She screamed and ran into the sitting room. Ray followed. He knew it couldn't last forever. They'd always told him, don't get married, it doesn't work. But no, he thought he knew better. His heart thumped in his chest. With tears welling in his eyes and trembling hands, he followed Pip and very nearly sobbed as he saw her feet sticking out from one end of the sofa. He took the safety off. He would have to make it quick and painless. He loved her more than anything. The sound filled the room and stopped Raymond's heart. His arm felt like it had been smashed by a hammer, and his chest was burning. He dropped the gun and fell to the floor, heartbroken, in both senses of the word. Philippa stood up. The remains of the huge 40 balloon beneath her popped accidentally by the sparkly brooch she'd worn to look pretty for Ray's birthday. Poor old Ray was dead, switched off like a light. Happy birthday, Ray, said Philippa. It would have been a poignant moment, except her voice was all squeaky from the helium.